Hey, what is up, guys? I'm your boy Nick with Pick MMA. If you guys are new here, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. I make content every week for UFC and LFA sometimes also, and other small promotions. I even make boxing content too sometimes, so don't forget to sub to the channel. Like the video down below. It's absolutely free. Only takes like a 1 second to hit that like button, and leave a comment down below for your boy for the algorithm. And let's get into it, guys. Here we go. Alright, guys, so the first fight on the prelims, we have this is the early prelims. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass and I think ESPN Plus, and if you're in Canada, it's going to be on TSN. Actually, it's going to be on the early prelims are always on UFC Fight Pass. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. So we have Lucas Alexander taking on Jeka Saragih. Jeka Saragih got taken down and dominated by what's his name, Jubilee. Until Jubilee, we just saw Jubilee get destroyed by Mike Brito in the third round. Jubilee has pretty horrible cardio. Before that, he was on a road to the UFC fighter contest, and he was winning there. He was doing pretty good over there. He's 13-3 overall. He's going up against Lucas Alexander, who's just coming off a good win over Steven Peterson, who's retired now. Steven Peterson didn't really do anything in that fight. I remember watching that fight. Steven Peterson came in as a favorite in that fight and just didn't even look like he trained for the fight, if we're being honest. And Lucas Alexander came in there and just outstruck him for 3 rounds and just beat him up. I mean, it wasn't anything impressive, but in this fight, Lucas Alexander is going to be taller at 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 73 inch. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage too. And I think this fight's mostly going to stay on the feet. I think Lucas Alexander could go for takedowns once or twice because Jeka Saragih's takedown defense is horrible. So we're going to go with Lucas Alexander by decision. I think he's going to get a decision. I could see him knocking Jeka Saragih out too, but Jeka Saragih is tough. Lucas Alexander is going to have to get that takedown and get on top of him and rain some ground and pound. But if this fight just stays on the feet, I think this fight's going to go the distance. I'm going to take Lucas Alexander by decision. I think he's going to get a decision win. 30-27 maybe, or 29-28. I'll say 29-28 for Lucas Alexander. Guys, next fight on the prelims, we have Charles Johnson, and this fight is in the flyweight division. We have Charles Johnson coming back after his 2-fight losing streak to face Rafael Estevam. And Rafael Estevam is making his UFC debut in this card. On this card, I mean, he was supposed to be taking on Jalgas Jumagulov. I think he was supposed to be taking on Jalgas Jumagulov, but that fight fell through. Let me check here. I think it was Jalgas. Yeah, it was Jalgas Jumagulov. He was also supposed to take on Carlos Condalarian, but that fight fell through too. I think he pulled out of the fight. Condalarian had an injury, and then Estevam pulled out of the fight. Estevam had a botched weight cut, so I wonder how his weight cut's going to be in this fight. But other than that, he's undefeated in his career. He had a fabulous performance on the Dana White Contender Series. He got a knockout win over João Elias. No one really that special, but it was a pretty good fight. He was a -180 favorite to win that fight, and he got it done in spectacular fashion. And in this fight, man, this fight's gonna be kind of tricky because Charles Johnson has good takedown defense, but he couldn't defend the takedown, save his life against Cody Durden. He took Cody Durden on. Excuse me. He took Cody Durden on short notice, I think. Cody Durden stepped in on short notice and took him down just dominated him for 15 minutes, took him down over and over and over and over. And the Charles Johnson takedown defense looked absolutely horrible. Before that, he got beat up by Ode Osbourne. Even though I think he should have won that fight, but he just keeps these fights super close. Before he got dominated by Makaya. In between, he got a split decision win with Jalgas Jumagulov, who's not even in the UFC anymore, but pretty good opponent. Then he knocked out Jimmy Flick. No, I don't hold anything. I don't have any value over knocking I don't think there's any value over knocking out over Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick cannot throw hands for nothing. And this fight, man, I'm going to take the newcomer here. I hope Charles Johnson is the favorite on the money line so we can take Rafael Estevam. I just feel like Charles Johnson, man, his ceiling, we already have seen his ceiling. He's 32 years old now at flyweight, and he's on a losing streak now. I mean, he couldn't defend the takedown. If he gets taken down in this fight, I could see Estevam just grounded pounding him. But if this fight stays on the feet, I think Charles Johnson has a pretty good chance of winning this fight. And Estevam is making his UFC debut. So there is that, but he looks pretty confident. I think Estevan's gonna come in here, and they're about the same size. Charles Johnson is 1 inch taller, 1 inch height advantage, but I'm going to take the newcomer here. I think Estevam gets it done by decision. That's my pick. Hey guys, next fight on the prelims, we have a really good matchup between Chad and Anheliger taking on Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson's coming off that debut loss against Damon Blackshear. I mean, that's a tough debut. Damon Blackshear took that on short notice, I think, too. Or I think that was in full camp. I could be wrong. But Jose Johnson, I mean, his takedown defense is horrible. He got taken down and submitted right away. But that was against a pretty good competition. And in this fight, I mean, Chad and Anheliger, he's coming off his loss against Anheliger, where he got taken down over and over, pressured for 3 rounds, and he got beat up. He hasn't fought in over a year and a month. So he hasn't fought in over 13 months almost. But he's coming in here. Before that, he knocked out Jesse Strader. I mean, Jesse Strader's not in the UFC anymore. He had a split decision win over Moon Gafra, which is a good win. But he hasn't been all that active, man. Jose Johnson made his UFC debut against a tough opponent in Damon Blackshear, who gave Mario Batista all that he could handle. And in this fight, man, I'm going to take Jose Johnson here. I think he's going to be the better striker. And I don't think Anheliger is going to take him down. I am picking against my Canadian fighter here. And I think there's a huge height advantage here for Jose Johnson. But if Jose Johnson gets taken down, I could definitely see him getting knocked out. He's not all that durable either. He got knocked out by Mana Martinez. So there's that. I mean, Chad Anheliger is probably going to be the tougher guy here. But I just don't like the fact that Anheliger is not all that active. And he hasn't fought in a while. And I like the height advantage for Jose Johnson. He's going to have a 6-inch height advantage. And what, a 7-inch reach advantage. I mean, that is absolutely wild. As long as Johnson doesn't get taken on, I think he's going to win the fight. I'm going to take Johnson gets it done by decision. I could definitely see him knocking him out. But I think it's going to be a decision win for Jose Johnson. So 30-27 for maybe 29-28 for Jose Johnson. This next fight on the card, on the prelims, we have Jonathan Pearce, JSP, taking on Joanderson Brito. What a matchup. I love this matchup so much. Jonathan Pearce is 14-4 in his MMA career, taking on Brito, who's 5-3-1. And both guys, Jonathan Pearce is 31 years old, whereas Brito is 28 years old, still not in his prime yet. For Brito, Jonathan Pearce is going to be 4 inches taller. He's going to have a 71-inch reach, but Brito has a 1-inch reach advantage. But that's interesting, isn't it? Brito's the one shorter, and he's got a reach advantage over Pearce. This fight is pretty simple to break down, in my opinion. Jonathan Pearce is, excuse me. Jonathan Pearce is going to be the grappler, I mean, and Brito is going to be the striker. Brito's got heavy hands, and he loves knocking people out. I mean, he knocked out he just beat up Diego Lopez for 3 rounds, even though that fight was called off in the 3rd round due to some, I think it was maybe a shot to the balls or something. Maybe it was eye poke, I can't remember correctly, but it was a technical unanimous decision. Before that, he lost to his debut to Bill Algeo. No shame losing to Bill Algeo. I mean, Bill Algeo has heavy pressure. And the way Bill Algeo fights, I think Jonathan Pearce fights similar. But Jonathan Pearce is going to shoot way more than Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo was able to defend the takedown and just beat up Brito on the feet. Since then, he's on a 3-5 winning streak. He knocked out Andre Fili. Andre Fili's not a easy guy to knock out. And he did it in like a minute. I mean, Brito's got heavy hands, and you can't start trading with this guy. Then he submitted Lucas Ogden in the 1st round, knocked out Weston Wilson in the 1st round. So these 2 wins, I mean, I don't really rate these guys too much, Lucas Ogden and Weston Wilson. But now he's going to be taking on a legit fighter, man. Jonathan Pearce has heavy pressure, really good wrestling. I mean, he's got some good wins. He's got a decision win over Darren Elkins, where he just beat him up on the feet. Then he knocked out Amir Khani, where Amir Khani was having success in the 1st round, took him down. And then Amir Khani just does what he does, gassed out in the 2nd round and just gave up. Before that, he beat up Christian Rodriguez. I mean, that's an underrated win. I think Christian Rodriguez's only losses to Pearce. Before that, he beat up, submitted Omar Morales. I mean, knocked out Kai Kamaka, who's in Bellator right now. Ground and pound. So, I mean, Jonathan Pearce has done nothing but win in the UFC. I mean, he's undefeated in the UFC. In this fight, man, I think Jonathan Pearce is going to be the favorite on the money line. I think he's going to be favored to win this fight. And I'm going to take Brito, man. I think Brito, his punching power, and he's so wild too. but I could definitely see Brito getting tired and getting submitted. But if he doesn't get tired, if he's able to defend those takedowns, I think Jonathan Pearce striking defense is pretty horrible. And I could definitely see Brito landing some big shots on Pearce. But if Jonathan Pearce is able to dance around him, time those beautiful takedowns, pressure him for 3 rounds, I could definitely see Pearce winning this fight. But I'm gonna take the underdog here. I think Brito is underdog, and I'm gonna take the underdog by I don't know if he's gonna knock him out. I don't think he's gonna knock him out, but I could definitely see a knockout. I could definitely see a knockout. I'm gonna take Brito by KO. I think Brito's gonna knock him out. Because even Rodriguez was touching up Jonathan Pearce with some big shots. If that's a Brito, if Brito's landing those big shots on him like Christian Rodriguez was, I think Brito's gonna just fucking either strangle him or just land some big shots on him and hurt him. So my pick is Brito by knockout, KO, TKO. As next fight on the prelims, we have Mick Parkin, who's undefeated at 7-0, taking on Caio Machado, who's coming off a really good win over on Dana White Contender Series. That fight was pretty horrible. I mean, Caio Machado's striking is pretty horrible. He throws a lot of looping shots, and he's not technical at all. I mean, yeah, he's 8-1. He's at 5-0 in his last 5 fights. But this fight was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. I picked him as an underdog on Dana White Contender Series. I don't know how Kevin Safarski was even favored to win that fight. I mean, Kevin Safarski is one of the worst fighters I've ever seen. I know Caio Machado he's Canadian. He trains out of Canada, I think. Now he's fighting out of Brazil, I guess, but he was fighting out of Canada before. But in this fight, it's pretty simple. I think Mick Parkin's way more technical on the feet. He can either dance around him and win by decision, or he can either submit him on the ground. Mick Parkin's the way better fighter. I mean, Mick Parkins came into the UFC, got a really good win over submitted Eduardo Nunes. Eduardo Nunes isn't all that good. Eduardo Nunes just got knocked out on Dana White Contender Series, and he got submitted on LFA like last week ago. So I'm not really rating Eduardo Nunes all that much, but good win either way. And then he got a really good win over Jamal Pogues I think he was an underdog in that fight. Just danced around Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues is a huge dude. Just dance around him, uses technical striking, and just outstruck him for 3 rounds. I'm gonna take Mick Parkins by I think he's gonna maybe club and sub him. I could see club and sub maybe, but I think he's gonna be a decision. I think Mick Parkins gonna get a 30-27 unanimous decision over Machado. Machado is super green, and Machado isn't technical at all. He throws a lot of looping shots, and I just don't think it's gonna connect on Mick Parkins. Mick Parkin's gonna be he's gonna have a reach advantage. He's gonna be younger here by a year, and I just like Mick Parkins. He's just more technical, more crisp in the striking, and he's got good takedown defense also. I don't think Machado's gonna take him down. Machado does have good Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the back pocket, but I don't think it's gonna work out for him here. I'm gonna take Mick Parkins by decision. I think 30-27 decision. Hey guys, next fight on the prelims, we have Lucie Pudilová taking on Ailin Perez. Lucie Pudilova's, I don't know how she lost that fight against Jocelyn Edwards. She dominated Jocelyn Edwards for 3 rounds with her grappling, took her down over and over, beat her up for 3 rounds. Then somehow she lost that fight. I just don't understand the judges sometimes. Before that, she was on a win streak, 3-5 win streak, before losing to Talita Bernardo back in the Octagon. But since then, she's done pretty well. She hasn't fought in over 6 months though. She's going to be facing Ailin Perez. Ailin Perez does what her nickname is Nirmagomedov, and that describes her completely. She's going to come out here with a wrestling heavy game plan, take Lucie Pudilová down over and over, and just fucking dominate her on the ground. That's what Ailin Perez does. I mean, this fight she was dominating Tamir's Vidal before those illegal knees. Ailin Perez is pretty good. I was impressed by her win over Evan Smith. She just beat her up for 3 rounds. I mean, she just dominated her on the ground and on the feet. I'm gonna take this is a tough fight to pick, but I'm gonna take Ailin Perez. I just like her pressure a little bit more. I like her judo throws. I like her wrestling a little bit more. Pudilová, I mean, she's pretty good. She got a win over Janan Wu. She knocked her out from elbows from back mount. But I'm gonna take the Ailin Perez here. I think she's gonna be a little bit smaller here at 5 feet 5 inches tall, whereas Pudilová is 5'8". But Pudilová doesn't look all that big either. I'm gonna take Ailin Perez. Maybe this is a sim pick of the week, cause she's got a fucking good figure. But I'm gonna take Ailin Perez by decision. I think this is a 20 over 2.5 is a lock here. I don't think either one of these girls are gonna finish the fight. I think Ailin Perez and Nurmagomedov is gonna get it done with the Nurmagomedov game plans he has in the back pocket. I think both these girls are gonna get takedowns. I think Ailin Perez is gonna get the better control time, probably the better win 2 out of the 3 rounds. It's gonna be a really close fight. Don't bet on this fight. Please don't bet on this fight. It's gonna be extremely close, and I think I could see either one of these girls getting the win here. I just feel like Ailin Perez is gonna do a little bit more. She's gonna get the better positions on the ground, and I think she's gonna have the better takedowns and just the better moments in the fight. So I think Ailin Perez by 29-28 or 30-27. Guys, next fight on the prelims. Let's get it. We have a really good matchup here between Nikolas Motta taking on Trey Ogden. Nikolas Motta, he's coming off that knockout loss, pretty vicious knockout loss to Manuel Torres. We made some easy money in Manuel Torres there. We had Manuel Torres by knockout. I think it was plus 200 or something like that. And they gave us a lot of plus money there. Before that, he got a knockout over Cameron Van Camp. Van Camp is really chinny. And he's got a good win over Dinaway Contender Series over Joseph Lowry. But Nikolas Motta is a brawler. I mean, he's going to throw wild hooks. Doesn't really have the best footwork. Doesn't really have the best chin. But I like his style, man. He comes to bang every time. And he's kill or be killed type of fighter that he is. He's 30 years old, training at Extreme Couture. He's going to be taking on Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden's a little bit longer in the tooth. He's 34 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 72-inch reach. Trey Ogden's probably going to be the tougher guy here. I mean, I don't think Trey Ogden's ever been knocked out before. Trey Ogden, he's been submitted 3 times, but he's never been knocked out. He doesn't have any knockout wins of himself. But he has that win over Daniel Huber, where Huber made his UFC debut and just couldn't get going. And Trey Ogden just worked him for 3 rounds. In this fight, I think it's going to be tricky. This fight's going to be a little bit tricky. I don't think Nikolas Motta has ever been submitted before. He's been submitted once, okay. So there's a lot of durability issues of Nikolas Motta. Most people are picking Trey Ogden right now. And it makes sense why, because Nikolas Motta isn't the most durable fighter out there. But I'm not giving up on this kid yet, man. I think Nikolas Motta still has a lot left in the fight game. And I think this is a good matchup for him. And Trey Ogden has 0 wins by knockout. And he's got some wins by submission. I don't think he's going to submit Nikolas Motta. I don't think he's going to take him down to the ground. And I think Nikolas Motta is going to hit a little bit harder. I think he's going to land a little bit with more sting. I wonder how he's going to come back from that knockout loss where he got absolutely slept from Torres pretty badly. But I'm going to give Nikolas Motta another chance here. I think he's still a young guy in the game. I think he can still make some improvements. But he is a little bit chinny, so you guys, I'm not going to be betting on him at all. Because he is chinny. He's been knocked out 4 times now. He's been submitted once. So that does worry me. But I think he can still win this fight, man. I don't think Trey Ogden has the power to sleep Nikolas Motta. He's got a good submission game, but that's about it. So I'm going to take Nikolas Motta. I think he's going to just land with more sting. And I think he's going to win by decision. I could see him knocking him out too, but Trey Ogden's a tough dude. He's never been knocked out before. He's been submitted before, so there's that. He's been submitted 3 times. And Nikolas Motta doesn't really submit anyone. He's got 0 wins by submission. So this is a tricky matchup, but I think Nikolas Motta just probably going to have the better moments in the striking. Probably land with a little bit more sting on the punches, at the end of the punches. And I think he's going to win the fight. I'm going to go against the grain here. Most people are picking Trey Ogden. But I'm not going to give up on Nikolas Motta. If he loses this fight, then I'm going to give up on him. I'm done with him. If he loses this fight, then he's pretty much done. His career is going to be over. But if he gets a win here, he's going to be back in the win column. And the people are going to start talking about him more. I just worry about his chin. If he doesn't get chinned here, he's going to win the fight, I think. Guys, we have a really good matchup on the preliminary card. Is this also the prelims? I'll be shocked if this is the prelims. This fight deserves to be on the main card, in my opinion. So we have the former Glory kickboxing champion, César Almeida. Was he the kickboxing champion? I think he was in the Glory kickboxing. I don't know if he was the champion there. I could be wrong. I think he was the champion at one point. But we have César Almeida. He got a really big upset win over Lucas Fernando in the Dinaway Contender Series. We made some good money on César Almeida. We got him at like plus 500 or something like that. Absolutely insane. Against a really good, well-rounded fighter in Lucas Fernando, who had the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and still couldn't get it done on the ground. Cesar Almeida did get taken down in the first round, but he was able to survive, stay calm, composed, and he got back up and just started outstriking Fernando, who's 9-1 and 10-1 now, I think. But Cesar Almeida is coming into the UFC, at a little bit on the older side at 35 years old, at 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 74-inch reach. I think he's going to be the better technical striker here. Leroy Duncan is very dynamic. He throws a lot of spinning weapons. That's how he lost the fight to Armin Petrosian. He was just doing some stupid shit, throwing some VO kicks, throwing some back fist, and Armin Petrosian was able to stay calm and compose and just throw the 1-2s and just outstrike him for 3 rounds. And that's what Armin Petrosian did. And that's why Leroy Duncan isn't undefeated anymore, because he does a lot of stupid shit. But he's very dynamic in his striking. I'm just not sold on his Duncan anymore. I'm going to take Cesar Almeida here. I think he's going to have the better kickboxing. This is going to be a kickboxing matchup. And I'll take the former Glory kickboxer in this fight. He's fought against Alex Poetan Pereira before, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check it. I think he's fought against the Pereira. Yeah, he's fought against Alex Pereira. He beat Alex Pereira once back in 2013. So that just tells you how good his technical kickboxing skills really are. He's lost to Pereira twice by decision, and then he beat Pereira once by decision. So, I mean, that just shows how good his kickboxing skills really are to beat a guy like Pereira even one time. I mean, this fight's going to stay on the feet. I don't think Leroy Duncan is going to take him down. And you're giving me a stand-up matchup between a Glory kickboxer and another kickboxer who's not on the same level as Almeida. I'll take Cesar Almeida by decision. That's my pick for this fight. Guys, next fight on the main card, we have Uros Medic coming back after a really good win over what's his name? He beat up Matthew Summelsberger. I got him wrong. I thought he was the other fighter that beat up Bahamondes. I got him mistaken there, my bad. So Uros Medic is coming off that win over Matthew Summelsberger, where he knocked him out with a spinning back fist, 2 ground strikes. Before he knocked out Omar Morales. Then he lost by submission to Jalen Turner, where he just got rear naked choked. Before that, he beat up and knocked out Alan Cruz, knocked out Mikey Gonzalez on the Dana White Contender Series. But he's taken on Johnny Parsons. Johnny Parsons coming off a really good win over Danny Roberts, who's super chinny. Danny Roberts has to be one of the chinniest fighters at welterweight. Before that, he got a split decision win over Solomon Renfro. I'm going to take Uros Medic here. I think he's going to be the cleaner striker. He's going to be the faster striker too. He's younger too by 2 years. And but if it just turns into a dogfight, I could definitely see Parsons getting it done, because this dude is ready. He's ready to go to the deep places. He's ready to go to war. He's ready to take those big shots and land his own. That's the one thing I like about Parsons. He's an absolute junkyard dog, but he's going to be much smaller here. Medic is going to be 6 feet 1 inch tall with the 71-inch reach. He's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage here, and 3-inch, 4-inch height advantage. So I don't think Uros Medic is going to be the cleaner striker, and I don't think Parsons has any submission wins in the UFC. He's got 0 wins by submission, 0 losses by submission, but he's been knocked out twice. So there are questions about Parsons' durability. I mean, Uros Medic has never been knocked out before. I think I'm going to take Uros Medic by knockout. I think he's going to knock out Parsons in the first round. So my pick is Uros Medic by first round knockout. Alright guys, next up on the main card, we have a really good matchup between these girls at strawweight. We have Amanda Ribas taking on Luana Pinheiro. Amanda Ribas is coming off that loss to Macy Barber, where she had a good first round. I think they were going back and forth. That was an absolute war. And Macy Barber just cracked her chin and just ground and pounded her. And before that, she lost by split decision to Caitlin Chukagian. She got a win over Viviana Araújo. It's a good win over Viviana Araújo. Viviana just beat what's her name? She just got a win. Viviana just got a win and bounced back in the win column. And she also has a win over Virna Jandiroba, who's just a grappler, can't strike for nothing. She's also got knocked out by Marina Rodriguez. So the thing about Amanda Ribas, she's a good striker, but her chin just doesn't her chin's getting cracked a lot. I mean, she's been knocked out how many times by now? She's been knocked out 3 times now in the UFC. She's got more knockout losses than she has wins. So that's the thing about Amanda Ribas. She's going to be taking on the Luana Pinheiro, who had a close decision win over Waterson Gomez, which isn't a good look. Waterson Gomez just got absolutely blasted by Rodriguez. So it's not a good look that he's going to just split decision with Michelle Waterson. Before this, he dominated Sam Hughes. Had a illegal upkick by Henda Marcos. Got a knockout win over Stephanie Frasto. This fight is pretty simple, guys. I mean, this fight is, I think Amanda Ribas is going to be way more experienced. She's probably going to have the better technical striking. But if Luana Pinheiro lands, man, she can definitely knock her out. I mean, Amanda Ribas, her chin just isn't there anymore. And I feel like I just can't pick her anymore, man. I just don't like her chin. She's been knocked out more than she has knockout wins in the UFC at this point. I know she's a huge favorite to win that fight. She's a big favorite over Luana Pinheiro, and I just don't trust her at this point. 71% people are picking Amanda Ribas. I'm gonna take the underdog here. I think Luana Pinheiro. I'm gonna ride with her this time. She's undefeated in the UFC. She's only winning in the UFC. I mean, she's probably gonna make some rapid improvements. She's only 30 years old. Same as Amanda Ribas. She's only 30 years old. But I just don't like Amanda Ribas' chin at this point. Is Luana Pinheiro gonna land the big bomb? If she does, I think she can crack Amanda Ribas' chin. If she doesn't land the big shots, I think Amanda Ribas is gonna win the fight. This is a pretty simple fight to pick. So it all depends on how good. She hasn't even taken enough time out. She's only been out for less than 3 months since that knockout loss. She took a lot of damage in that fight. I mean, she's been knocked out four times now. I mean, 3 times. Yeah. She's done when the fights go along. She's done good. 5-1 when the fights go to decision. So she's done good, but I just don't like her durability at this point. And she's over 2-1 favorite to win that fight. To win this fight. Yeah, I don't like those. I don't like the line either. I'm gonna take Luana Pinheiro. I think she's gonna get a decision. I don't know if she could knock her out too, but I think it's gonna be a close fight, and I think it's gonna be a decision for Luana Pinheiro. I want to see Luana Pinheiro knock her out, but I'm gonna take a decision for now. Alright, guys. Next fight on the main card, we have Payton Talbott taking on Nick Aguirre. I think the UFC is trying to build up Payton here. It's pretty simple why they put him on the main card. I mean, you wouldn't see a guy with one fight in the UFC, not even one fight in the UFC, making his UFC debut this high on the card. This is a pretty simple fight to pick. Nick Aguirre isn't all that good. He lost his UFC debut against Dan Argueta, got out-grappled, got outworked. And that was almost like 9 months ago. So Payton Talbott's gonna be the way better striker. He's gonna be taller by an inch. He's gonna have a almost 3.5 inch reach disadvantage, but I don't think it's gonna matter all that much. Nick Aguirre isn't the best striker out there. He's got some good submission game. He's got good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but that's pretty much it. I think Payton Talbott's gonna knock him out. He's got really good striking. He's really good footwork also. He's really good in and out movement. He's got that high guard up where he's able to stay safe in most of the striking exchanges. He got a really good win over Reyes Cortez where they were going back and forth. And Payton just had the better cardio, man. This kid is really good. A really good technical striker, and I think he gets it done. I think he's going to get it done by knockout. I'm going to take him by knockout. I think Payton Talbott's going to get a knockout. I don't think Aguirre has a durability that Cortez has. So I'm going to take Payton Talbott to get it done by knockout. I think most people agree. 92% people agree, and 53% people are picking him by knockout. I think that's why they have this matchup on the main card, because they want to build up Payton, and this is a perfect stylistic matchup to build him up. So we're going to take Payton Talbott by knockout. I think second round knockout. Alright guys, next fight on the main card, we have Jordan the Monkey King Levitt taking on Chase the Dream Hooper. Let's get into it, guys. So Jordan Levitt's probably really a good grappler, really good wrestler. He's going to try to use his pressure and cardio and just out-grapple you for 3 rounds. He's got a good submission game also. He submitted Matt Sales with an inverted triangle. Then he outworked Trey Ogden, which is a good win over Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden is a tough guy to outwork. Then he got submitted by Paddy Pimblett. He was controlling the fight. He was winning the whole fight before he gave up that position to Paddy Pimblett. Made a mistake in the fight, and Paddy Pimblett just took his back and got that rear naked choke in pretty quick. But then he bounced back with a beautiful win over Victor Martinez, where he just flying kneed him. I think it was flying knee. Just knocked him out clean in the first round. So Jordan Levitt seems to be making a lot of improvements. And so does Chase Hooper, man. Chase Hooper looks to be making a lot of improvements, but he still seems stiff and stiff when he throws his punches, and he's really open to getting countered. That's the one thing I don't like about Chase Hooper. He's been knocked out twice now, I think. He's been knocked out once in the UFC, and he's lost twice by decision. So he's 4-3 in the UFC, and he's 1-0 in the Contender Series. So the UFC is giving him pretty good opponents, but I think this is a tough fight for him. I think Jordan Levitt's going to get it done. I think he's either going to be able to land the bigger shots on the feet. Jordan Levitt has more pop on his punches, I think, on the feet, and he's got the better wrestling, and he's probably got the better cardio. Yeah, I'm going to take Jordan Levitt here. I did pick Chase Hooper against Nick Fury. Chase Hooper was like a plus 150 underdog against Nick Fury, and now he's the favorite over Jordan Levitt. I just don't understand these odds. Yeah, we made good money on Chase Hooper over Nick Fury. Nick Fury is pretty horrible. Just didn't know what to do. Didn't even throw anything back on Chase Hooper. He just got outworked by Chase Hooper for 3 rounds. In this fight, I think Jordan Levitt's way more skilled than Nick Fury. So I'm going to take the underdog here. I think Jordan Levitt gets it done. And most people, 56% people picking Levitt. And I think more people are going to be picking Chase Hooper because they like Chase Hooper. He's a good kid, man. Chase Hooper's a good kid. We all want to see Chase Hooper get it done. And he's taller too. He's 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. He's going to have the height advantage. He's going to have the reach advantage. But I think Jordan Levitt's going to have the better moments in the grappling exchanges where he just land the harder shots on the feet. I don't think he's going to knock Chase Hooper out, but I could be wrong. He definitely has the better finishing ability than Chase Hooper. I think Jordan Levitt's a side here as underdog. Plus 200 underdog. Let's freaking go, guys. Jordan Levitt as a plus 200 underdog to get the job done. Hell yeah. Alright guys, we're at the co-main event of the evening, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. What are you guys waiting for? Hit the like down below. It's absolutely free. It takes 1 second to hit that like button down below, and really helps out with all the work that I put into these videos. It takes me a couple of hours to get these videos out to you guys. I gotta go to the YouTube and everything. So if you guys appreciate the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like down below and leave a comment below for your boy for the algorithm. Oh yeah, let's freaking go, guys. So we're at the co-main event of the evening now. We have Jake Matthews taking on Michael Morales. Jake Matthews is 19-6 in his MMA career, 3-2 in his last 5 UFC fights. He's 29 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 72-inch reach. He trains out of a Nexus gym. He's going to be taking on Michael Morales, who's 15-0, undefeated in his MMA career. 4-0 in his last 5 UFC fights, and he's 24 years old, so still very young and still very green. But Morales seems to be making improvements every fight he's been in. He trains out of Extreme Fitness Macala, I think that's how you say it. But Michael Morales is going to be 1 inch taller. He's going to have a huge reach advantage over Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews is coming off the rear naked choke submission win over Darius Flowers, where we all made good money on him there. Before that, he lost to Matthew Summelsberger, just got knocked down a couple of times and just got outworked on the feet. Before they knocked out Andre Fialho, who's not in the UFC anymore, got submitted by Sean Brady, beat up Diego Sanchez. So I haven't really been impressed by Jake Matthews all that much. He's been on and off. Hasn't been a guy. He's not been a guy that's been able to stay consistent in the UFC. He's gone up and down his whole career. Michael Morales on the other side is undefeated, 5-15-0, coming off a really good win over Max Griffin, where he just outworked him for 3 rounds. Before that, he knocked out Adam Fugate, knocked out Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles isn't an easy guy to knock out. Then decision Nikolas on the Dana White Contender Series. So my pick is going to be Michael Morales here. I think he's going to outwork him for 3 rounds. I think he's going to stay safe in that striking exchanges and just outwork him for 3 rounds. Jake Matthews has pretty good striking, but he's a guy that we've seen get outstruck before. Matthew Summelsberger was able to outstrike him for 3 rounds, knock him down once or twice. He got knocked down twice, I think, too. Yeah, Jake Matthews, I keep saying Matthew Summelsberger. But yeah, Jake Matthews, this is a closer fight than people think. I think most people are picking Morales, and it makes sense why. He's been undefeated. He's undefeated in his MMA career. But he's still very young, man. He's 24 years old. And he's going to have a huge reach advantage, which I really like for him. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage, which is absolutely wild. And he's going to be taller too. I just think he's the better, cleaner striker, and this is gonna be mostly a striking matchup between these two guys. But if Jake Matthews cracks him, I mean, Morales' chin isn't like invincible. I mean, but yeah, man, I'm gonna pick Michael Morales by decision. I don't think Michael Morales is gonna knock him out. We haven't really seen Jake Matthews get knocked out in the UFC. He's been knocked out once in the UFC by who did he get knocked out by? He got knocked out by Kevin Lee back in 2016. But I don't think Morales is gonna knock him out, because he's only been knocked out once for 18 UFC fights, so he has been submitted 3 times, so there's that. I think Morales works in 3 rounds. Michael Morales by 30-27 decision. Guys, we're at the main event of the evening. Hell yeah, let's freaking go. What a really good matchup between these guys here at middleweight. We have Brandon Allen taking on Paul Craig Pearce. Let's get into it, guys. So Brandon Allen is 22-5 in his MMA career, 5-0 in the UFC in the last 5 fights. At 27 years old, still very young for the game, and 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. He trains at a Rufus Sport MMA Academy. He's gonna be taking on Paul Craig Pearce, who came down from light heavyweight, and he's doing pretty good. Made his UFC debut at middleweight against Andre Muniz 2 months ago, and before that he was on a 2-fight losing streak to Johnny Walker, where he got knocked out where he just held his leg. He was trying to take down Johnny Walker and just didn't let go of the leg, and just got a hammer fisted to the face. Before that he got outworked by Volkan Ozdemir. But he's got some good wins. He's got a win over the former champion Jamal Hill, where he just took his arm home, but then he submitted Krylov. I mean, no easy task submitting a guy like Krylov. But this is a tough fight for Paul Craig, in my opinion, man. I know he's got a huge upset win over Andre Muniz, where he was at plus 300 underdog, and I wish I could have called him as an upset there, but I didn't. I thought Andre Muniz was gonna be able to control him on the ground, but Muniz just gassed at him. I mean, Muniz has horrible cardio. But this is a whole different matchup here, man. Brandon Allen has only been looking better and better. He submitted Sam Alvey, just outworked Jeka Malkoun, submitted Jocko, submitted Andre Muniz, rear naked choke, submitted Bruno Silva in the first round. I mean, Bruno Silva was not an easy guy to submit in the first round. But Brandon Allen, his striking looked really good. I think the difference in this matchup is going to be both of them have high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Paul Craig is probably the better jiu-jitsu artist on the ground. But Brandon Allen, his striking has come a long, long way, man. I've been really impressed by Brandon Allen's striking. And I think he's going to be able to stay safe on the feet and just land those big shots on Paul Craig. And I think he's going to knock him out. I'm going to say first round knockout for Brandon Allen. Most people are picking Allen by knockout. Yeah, it makes sense why. 27% people picking Paul Craig by submission. I could definitely see Paul Craig maybe landing a big shot on Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen doesn't have the best chin. We've seen him get knocked out twice before. But he's only been knocked out twice in 12 UFC fights. Both of his losses are by knockout, so he's got to watch out on the feet. He doesn't have the best chin. But this is a pretty simple matchup. I think Brandon Allen gets it done by knockout. First round knockout from Brandon Allen. That's my call. Hell yeah, let's freaking go, guys. Hit the like down below. Subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to that 500 subscriber mark. Let's freaking go. Hell yeah. And don't forget to leave a comment down below for the algorithm. I'm just getting this video out to you guys before that UFC 295 card today. That's gonna be airing today. I'm so excited for that matchup. Hell yeah, let's freaking go, guys. I cannot wait for the UFC 295 card, and I wanted to make this video out to you guys as soon as I could. I'm going to be doing a full card breakdown soon for this card, for the Fight Night card. But this is just my quick picks video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.